Good afternoon. Welcome to FOMC day at OptionsTender. Okay, we're gonna do something just a little bit quicker. I want to show you SPX, and then not a whole lot has changed from yesterday. We are rejecting off of resistance, and you gotta look at yesterday's video. It was just telling us a story, and so we're trading off that story, right? And then I'm gonna show you Nvidia. And also a trade that it was, I think, a week or two ago. Whenever Oracle's earnings were, we had a trader trade off of that earnings. Okay, I'm trying to look up here to see who it was. So I want to show you that a little bit different today. And then I wanted to do the video later, but we have an obligation here today. So I'm going to try to do, okay, so it was Flying Disc. All right, Flying Disc had a wonderful trade with Oracle. And so shout out to you. What I'm trying to do is show the camaraderie and the different traders that are in the Discord, and they shorted commons on Oracle. So I'll show you that in a few minutes and why the short happened there and what that setup was. So we're doing this intraday about 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're considering, if you want to get these videos intraday, consider becoming a YouTube member. It's 99 cents a month. Comes with the Discord and the trade alerts. And again, they're not just mine. There's fantastic trades in the Discord from other traders that you can follow as well with their setups and great explanations and things like that. So join us there, and let's get into it. So we have SPX here. We're getting a red candle, the second red candle here. Why? Well, first of all, the trend is still up, right? So you can't deny that, but we're against resistance, okay? So we have this wedge here getting really tight price action. That wedge is going to resolve either breakout or breakdown. Nobody actually knows, but the probability from our indicators is telling us that we're going to break down from there. And so make sure you check out yesterday's video. Nothing to see here. The only thing that really changed here for the OptionsTender setup here was the slow stochastic with a crossover that we got from yesterday going into today. So we're just about at the 80 there. We're looking for a sell signal, which is crossing the 80. And so we'll look for that to complete today. All right. And we're off the Bollinger Band. There's nothing to see here. That D mark, we'll go to SPY real quick because for some reason it's not showing up on SPX. That D mark is giving us that 9 count sell signal. And here we go with the Qs. So we'll also look at that trade that we did with the Qs, see how that's doing. And so we have our 9 count today here, and we'll see how that plays out. So let's go over to, let's do the VIX first. And you can see the VIX is continuing to rise. I can argue that it's actually starting to break out from the lower part of the wedge, but we're still in this area where we could spike to the top of the wedge. We got to get, we have to see price action get above there, but still pushing off. Back tested today. We're in a rising phase here, so looking good. And let's go to Oracle now. Okay, so here's Oracle at the first glance. I can kind of see maybe a 5-wave move here, and so off of this correction, but you had that huge gap up, and price action went into a confluence of different spots here. So if you count this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it doesn't really matter. You have this correction here for that possible wave 2 and the correction for wave 4, and they both come in confluence with their 261.8% extensions, and so he shorted that, averaged into it, and just had a really remarkable trade off that rejection. Okay, will it continue lower and close the gap? Probably is my guess, but just a great trade that happened there. and really, really proud to have you in the Discord. All right, so thank you, Flying Disc. And what are we going to look at next? Oh, Nvidia. Okay, so Nvidia is leading, in my opinion, leading the market to the downside. It really has to change direction it's the only name of the big techs that had the conditions that we pointed out yesterday, right before the close in the Discord. So we brought out our trend tool, and yes, there are whipsaws, right? But there's a reason why this became a really good short opportunity with the close right underneath that 20 moving average. You think that's really early? Well, with this by itself, yeah, that's an early signal and a little less probable. But if we throw on our traditional technical analysis, we have our, move that. We have our trend line from peak to peak, and that could have been a peak there, but price action had the throw over and formed a channel and back tested to that channel in confluence with that important trend line. So we're not only rejecting off of there, we had a objective short from here, we also had that sell signal. Now, in most cases, we're going to want to look for a continuation of red here. Well, in our membership, we have another indicator that says that this was only a little whipsaw. We had one candle that changed color, but it was really keeping us in the trend. The trend is down so far. All right, lower highs and lower lows. And so that was a good trade here. Now we can observe what happened. So first of all, we had an island gap up. So that could have been really bullish, but we're into resistance, okay? And now we have an island gap down. So we have the gap here and the gap here. So that is considered very bearish. You had very bullish, into resistance, very bearish. Let's see if we get follow through now. Okay, so if the market is going to turn, NVIDIA is giving us a clear signal of the direction it wants the market to go. All right, so I hope that helps. That's what we did yesterday, and we have that nice trade going on. So QQQ, we're going to follow this trade that we did yesterday. This is a free trade for you guys. And so we had that channel form. We were at the top of the channel, took the trade, and you can have a confirmation, a sell signal from the minor trend line here is broken. Could there be another back test, or could it be a 1-2, 1-2? You could get some nesting before heading lower into FOMC. Maybe we, in the next hour or so, we bounce a little bit. That would be a 1-2, 1-2. Other than that, things get crazy, we're testing this gap, right? So things could get crazy with FOMC going into not only the rate, which is expected to be a quarter cut. So we're going to get that. Unless something is odd, we get a half cut or something other than what's expected, then we have to wait until the commentary afterwards, 30 minutes afterwards. Okay, so that's FOMC is the rate is at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then 30 minutes later is Powell going up there to speak, Fed Chairman. Okay, so far this is working out. Again, this is Friday expiration, and our strike price is 580. Would I buy it here? Not really. That's not the setup. We're actually into gap support. So, yes, later dated ones, swings you could easily put into effect, but I wouldn't buy these short-term options at this point. Okay? Just in case you get any whipsaws from FOMC a lot of times. And just to give you a warning ahead of time, so hopefully I'll be able to make this video this evening again, but I want to end this now because I want to get this out to you. But a lot of times you'll see huge spikes back and forth, and sometimes it ends up going nowhere for the rest of the day. And then you have to see some follow through to the upside or downside the next day. All right, so just be prepared. And I've also seen it, especially in options expiration, the triple quadruple witching. This thing can go in one day all the way down to the options expected move or further. Okay, so don't think that that's the case, that it doesn't have to go anywhere. I've seen it all. Okay, and I wouldn't be surprised if this thing tanked. Now, the one thing that we're talking about in the Discord, if we are to get this big move that we're talking about, and I think to the downside, if we're to do that, a lot of times, traders will get out because they're conditioned for buy the dip and they want to take profits quick. I completely understand that. And so our options expected move to the downside for SPY is at 650, just below 648.49 into the once resistance that should be maybe a little bounce zone. But I've seen it to where you could get in SPY 30 points, 20-30 points in a day, and you start taking profit off of maybe you held it on this long, and you start to see the options expected to move and you're all out, and this thing keeps going. There's no way you can really get back in, and 20 points to the downside is 30 right down here, so you'd be back into this channel support area. I've seen it happen. Just giving you the heads up. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not saying that is the case, but just be aware. Maybe leave some runners if it starts breaking down, or roll your positions out. But we're looking for a pretty big move incoming. All right. Want to get this out to you. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.